Hey, what's up everyone? It's Chris from Equalize Designz. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to take your basic web page and make it responsive. So, responsive web design is basically using CSS to make media queries and making it adjustable for mobile browsers like tablets and phones. So let me show you what I'm talking about. If I reduce the size of my screen for the browser, you'll see a change. Like this is tablet and this is phone. So let's begin. As you know, I'm following along with the last tutorial that we made a basic web page using HTML and CSS. So if you follow along through, you're going to actually just use the same code you was using from the last tutorial. So I'm going to go to CSS. What I've done actually is, like in the last tutorial, we did all the CSS in the HTML document. This time I made a new CSS page, as you can see here. And I made it link. Like this is linking to that page. In Dreamweaver, it'll show the linkables that you'll have for like CSS and JavaScript and PHP. So let's begin. What I do is, after you've done all your CSS, you're gonna add your media query. So to begin, it's at media space screen and parentheses max hyphen width colon, and then the tablet I use 800, maybe 1000, 720. It all depends on what size you want to use. Usually when technology evolves and new tablets come out, they usually increase the size, and with phones as well. Like Note 3s are like almost the size of a tablet, like smaller. So I use 800 pixels for a tablet, and what you're gonna do is open your curly brackets like you do with any CSS, you're writing, curly brackets, and then inside that you're gonna add your CSS. Now, to start off, as we have a header, the header was a class, as you should remember from the last tutorial. You open the curly brackets, and with this header, I'm going to give it a width of 75%. Let me explain that. With 75%, the media query is 800 pixels width. So the width of the header is 75% of that 800 pixels. When you're dealing with adjusting the screen size for mobile use, you have to, so basically the height can be, you're limited with your width, and you use more height, your height of your divs and nav tags and stuff like that. So the width is 75%, the height is 110 pixels. Oh, whoops, I forgot to close that. And then I'm going to do a margin left. And I'm going to make that 50 pixels. And I'm going to close that. And I'm going to open up the nav on the order list item. And that's just going to have a display block. Most responsive web pages will probably have like a menu bar and a button that will open and close. Since this is a basic web page, I'm just gonna make everything basic. In the next tutorials, I'll get more a little advanced and maybe add a little JavaScript or jQuery in it. So after we add the display block, we're gonna actually margin that left 220 pixels. We're going to close the curly brackets, and then now we're going to add our content. Now, if you remember, the content was an ID. So ID is pound and class is a period. So open curly brackets. The width of that is also 75%. Close that. We're going to margin that left as well. And that's 50 pixels. And the height of this content is going to be 550 pixels. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our dummy text. So dummy text is a class, so period, dummy text. And the dummy text also has a width of 75%. And it has a margin left of 80. Pixels. We're going to close that, and now last but not least, we're going to add the footer. Footer is a class of add a period. Footer. And the footer width is also 75%. 75%. And then it's also going to have a margin left 50 pixels. Now, when doing code, you always want to check and make sure you have everything. Your classes are right, your IDs are right, your opening and closing, your closing are right. So then we're going to save that. I'm going to view that in the browser. There we go. Let's close this, resize and see how it looks. Oops. Hold on. Oh, right. I'm sorry. With media queries, you can have no colon. No semicolon. There we go. So we have it for tablet. So now what we want to do is we want to copy this whole thing and make it for phone. So do a Command C, Control C on Mac. That's copy, and Command V and Control V on Windows for pasting it. And we want to change this from 800 to 480. And there's a couple changes that we're going to change between 800 pixels and the 480 pixels. So the width of the header is going to be actually 100%. And the height's going to remain the same, but we're going to change the margin to 0. The nav UL, I'm just going to change that from 220 to 120 with the margin left. The content is also going to have a width of 100 pixels. Margin left, actually the margin is going to be 0. And the height, I'm actually going to change it to 600 pixels. Dummy text is actually going to be 90%. The width. It's going to be margin left 20 pixels. The footer is going to have 100%. And of course, it's not going to have any margin. Save that and review that and refresh in the browser, and let's see. So there we go. We have our responsive web design. Okay, well now that we have this web page responsive, let's add this code to the other to the other CSS. So we're just gonna copy this whole media query right here, and we're gonna go to the other pages. Right under that, enter, paste it, save it. Let's view that in the browser now. We refresh and we go back down the tablet. There we go. And of course, phone. If you really want to see how it works, check this out. So look at that. Went from my computer to my phone. So now you can definitely see that it works. It's responsive on the phone. See? I believe this is like the 480 pixels. So it's full size. The tablet would be 800. Now this is a Note 3. I gotta update, but as you can see, it's working still. Thank you for watching my tutorial. Stay tuned for the next one. Peace.